What's up, guys? I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, we will be looking at exercise 24 of our Python exercise tutorial series. Without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, we have exercise 24. The length of a month varies from 28 to 31 days. In this exercise, you will create a program that reads the name of a month from the user as a string. Then, your program should display the number of days in that month. Display 28 or 29 days for February so that leap years are also taken into consideration. Okay, guys, so looking at this exercise, we can see a simple but quite interesting one. Again, this also has to do with, and deals with, our decision making, particularly the if else elif or the if elif else ladder. So let's begin coding this problem. First, I'd like to let's proceed to take an input. So the program does say, right, that we need to read the name of a month from the user as a string. And by default, the input function reads or captures input as a string. So like in this scenario, see, using that string keyword or that string function, encapsulating the input in that string function is kind of redundant. So we do not need that, but it's entirely up to you, your choice and your preferences. If you still want to explicitly convert input to a string, you may go ahead and do so. Okay, so we'll kindly request the user, please enter the name of the month, or let's say of a month. Fine. Now, one thing to actually be aware of, guys, is that in this program they did not mention anything about what's going to happen if the user, the individual who's using the program, enters basically a name of a month that's non-existent. So like just any random text, if it's entered, they did not say like what should be done with that. So we will overlook that particular feature of the program. So if the user is entering any, we'll call it, I don't know what you want to call it, but if the user is entering nonsense as the input, so basically we should still tell them maybe that there are certain amount of days in this month, even though it's a non-existent month. Okay, because the prompt, the problem prompt did not specify anything about what's going to happen if an invalid name of a month is entered. Okay, I do hope that makes sense. That was kind of confusing to explain. Okay, so anyway, let's proceed. What we can do is we can set for ourselves, we can set up a constant, and this constant can hold 31 as the value, right? This constant name is days, because like we know, right, that majority of the months in the year have 31 days in them. So since it's the most common number of days in a month, we can set it as a constant. So next, what we'll proceed to do is our if statements, right? Simple if statements, all we need to do is if month is equals to April, okay, or see, so we are using again another logical operator, or if I'm not mistaken, we also saw and used it in a previous exercise within these if statement problems. Okay, so let's proceed now to cater for all months that have 30 days in them. So we know April is one of them, June is one of them. So let's do double equals to June if month is equals to April, or month is equals to June, or month is equals to September, or month is equals to November. Okay, guys, so these are the 4 months that have 30 days in them. Okay, so the way in which we also learn it in South Africa, I'm not sure about the rest of the world, is we've got this kind of song kind of thing that they teach us, from the time you are like in preschool or something. And it basically goes like 30 days hath September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31 days except February, which has 28 and 29 every leap year. Okay, so that's kind of something to help you remember that. So, guys, let's think about it now, right? We've catered for all the possibilities of months having 30 days. But now, before we can actually round up this if statement, let's do a final enclosure for brackets. As I explained before, if you've been following along with the tutorials, you know enclosing your conditions, enclosing the sub-conditions and the entire condition in a pair of brackets or parentheses really makes it much more readable, and it's good Python practice. So moving on, let's proceed now to have a little message displayed to the user. Or what we can do, instead of displaying the message in this from within the if statement, what we can do is just set up our constants. So we've set up one constant called days is equals to 31. This is the first thing that we set up for the program as a constant. And now within this if statement, if the month happens to be one of these ones, that have been entered by the user, then we'll set days to be equals to 30. Okay, now within this if else if elif else ladder, we'll say elif month is equals to February, days is equals to, and they specifically told us we need to have this as the message. So what I will do is I'll just copy and paste that 28 or 29 days. So let's think about it, right? You are probably wondering, I just see this has an error here. If I'm not too sure why the error is there. Anyway, I see it. Single equals to, the comparison operator is a double equals to. So I accidentally forgot that. Anyway, you may be wondering, right, why here the days constant or variable has 31 days, and then here the days variable has 30 days in an integer. So here is an integer, here's an integer, but here we see it as a string. So that's nothing to be too worried about. Like, if you want, you can also set it as a string up here and also within the if statement, because at the end of the program, when we are printing a message to the screen for the user to see, the print statement by default converts everything into a string. So even though we see integers here, eventually they will be converted to a string to be concatenated to that end message. So we'll see it shortly. Now, guys, this wraps up the decision making within our program. Now, the final thing to do would be to print a message to the user. We can say we can say something like, this month has X number of days in it. So instead of saying this month, to make it even better, what we can do is we can retrieve the month that was entered by the user, and we can say, like, month has X days. So for example, if the user enters, February, the message that will be shown will be February has 28 or 29 days. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll say month, we'll do commas, has days in it. That seems good. One thing I will do though, just to avoid confusion, because constants are in actual sense not supposed to be changing throughout the program, but now days is changing, so I'll just convert this to all lowercase letters. You may do go ahead and do the same. So that's good, and we'll change it down here. Excellent. Now guys, before we wrap up this video, let's proceed to run the script, make sure everything works. So Control enter. Please enter the name of a month. Let's say let's do March. March has 31 days in it. Very good. So, okay, so March has 31 in it. So in this message, let's place days in it. That's good. Let's run the program again. Do January. January has 31 days in it. Excellent. Let's check if our decision making works properly. So let's do November, since that's the month that's coming up. November has 30 days in it. And finally, to test that alif, let's do February. Okay, spelling is correct. Let's go for it. Excellent. February has 28 or 29 days in it. Let's change this here, because you see what has happened for February. It's a good thing we're testing it for all months, because we see here that it says February has 28 or 29 days in it. So this lowercase days was actually there because the script was made like that. You see here in the alif, if month is equals to February, the days of that message was equals to 28 or 29 days. And then we were also adding another days in the print message. So we just removed the word days from the alif statement or the alif condition. That's good. And let's do a test one more time for February. Excellent, guys. February has 28 or 29 days in it. And with that, you see we've effectively and efficiently completed exercise 24 of our Python exercise tutorial series. I really hope that you are finding these activities interesting and you are getting, that hands-on Python experience. And with that, I thank you for watching and staying till the end of the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.